Yo, hello guys, my name's mightymax and welcome back to another episode of the Cosplay Warehouse. Today we'll be making these bad boys, also known as Deku's Air Force gloves. Now, before we get into anything, I need to ask you this. Do you want super cheap, high quality templates for cosplay made by your boy himself? Huh? Crazy, right? Cheaper than any other YouTuber's templates on the platform. Okay, that is very true. You do? Well, sub to my Patreon down below in the description for only $5 today and get all the templates I upload this month at no extra cost. That means you get a bunch of extras on top of my original YouTube channel. You get all these extra things. You can ask for some fan shoutouts. Okay, I'll be giving all my Patreons a fan shoutout, but also I'll be letting you guys ask me what you want me to build next. So it's crazy. You get all these suggestions. You get so many plus ultra extras on this bad boy, and all you have to do is pay $5, and for the rest of the month you get all the stuff at no extra cost. So if I uploaded 4 templates this month, somebody would probably ask you to pay $30 in total if you were to pay for each of their templates. But no, for me, you only got to pay $5 at the beginning of this month. So how crazy is that? Alright, let's do this. Firstly, please remember to print this on A4 paper and do not upscale it or downscale it. There's no scaling needed. Just make sure that you don't stretch it accidentally, because if you do, you're going to have to stretch everything else. Alright, so assuming that you became a hero and you clicked the link in the description and you subbed to my Patreon, you should now have the template in front of you and you can now follow along with me in the video. I'll be referring to the templates in parts, but you'll visually be able to see what parts I'm cutting and putting together on screen. So, for the beginning part, you're going to need a white pair of gloves. I bought these white gloves off of Amazon. They're actually pretty costly now, but when I bought them, they were on sale. So, just buy a pair of white leather gloves. I think that they're the best high quality looking piece. And honestly, if you build this entire piece and then all of a sudden your gloves don't look very high quality, it's not gonna look very good. I would assume that you want your piece to be as high quality as possible, so go for white leather gloves. So there in the background, I'm simply just colouring these in on the bottom with a permanent marker. And although it may not look so neat in this clip, I do actually touch it up over time and make it look as good as I possibly can. But if you don't have a permanent marker, I'm sure that you'll find something else that works. Maybe you can get some leather paint, who knows, but I'm sure that you'll find something that works if you don't have a permanent marker. Okay, so now take a look at the glove knuckle piece template and cut that out on some plastic 10 times. I used a flattened plastic bottle. Then once you've cut all of the pieces, fold the top piece inwards and then fold the side pieces. There's a dotted line on the template, link in description. Now, prime your pieces, and what I did here was I stuck them on some popsicle sticks, just to make it easier to spray them. But, yeah, just prime them, and then spray them with gold spray paint. I did a couple of coats. Alright, so now that your pieces have dried, now I got someone else to help me here, but you want to super glue the pieces onto your gloves. This might be a little bit tricky by yourself, but remember, once it's stuck because you're super gluing it, so make sure that you're accurate and place them just before the knuckle. Okay, so now all your pieces are stuck and dry. You want to grab some cable ties. I stuck the shiny side up with the square part meeting with the knuckle pieces. Then I snipped off the ends at the back of the end of the glove. So now that you've stuck on those, your gloves are basically done, but there's going to be a little tip at the end that I want you guys to see, because it's going to help you out a lot. So stick around for that tip at the end, and then your gloves will be finished. But now, guess what? You're going to want to move on and cut out your 4 discs, which is part 1 on the templates, along with the 4 cogs, which is part 1.5. Now, heat seal your discs and cogs, and you'll also want to spray the 4 discs only in black PLASTI dip spray paint. Link in description. This just helps to seal the foam, and it gives it like a nicer finish, and also it's black, so it makes it the right colour as well, because you don't want to just have grey foam. It doesn't look very nice. Now you want to cut your thick black foam strips, which is part 2 in the templates, and measurements are on there, so go check the templates out if you haven't already, it'll be worth it. Then cut out some larger thin white foam, pull and superglue it around the back of the strips of foam, or you can just spray it white. However, if you spray it with white spray paint, it might crack and it may not look as good. Also, wrapping the foam around the black long foam strips that you made will give it like a rounded look, and I think that looks a bit more polished, in my opinion. Okay, so now you have just a black strip of foam which has now either been painted white or has been covered in white thin foam. Now, wrap the thick foam strip around the 2 discs, starting by supergluing 2 discs to one end of the foam strip. Then, glue and roll. That's what I did here. I just started gluing and rolling at the same time, and you have to remember to do this twice as well, because you're doing it for 2 gloves, obviously. Now you have this, get the cogs you made earlier out of white foam and glue them to your gauntlets. There should be 1 tooth at the top and 2 teeth at the bottom, so it should look like this. Once that's done, you need to cut out the next 2 layers, but first you'll want to tape together part 3 and part 4, and then part 5 and part 6. Okay, now you can cut the templates out, trace them onto thin white foam, and cut them out as well. And you'll have to trace each template twice. Now that you have those cut out, you need to hit the white foam pieces with a heat gun. This makes them shiny and seals the foam, which makes it look nice, okay? And also makes the finish a bit better. Now stick these together, so the smaller piece should be superglued on top of the bigger piece. It should look like this, as I'm doing so in the video. Now, do that again, and superglue these to your gauntlet cylinders you made earlier. But don't glue them all the way down, make sure that there's a gap so the foam can flare out a bit at the bottom. It should look like this. Now, grab part 5 and part 6 that you taped together earlier, and cut the strip off at the bottom, labelled blue. Now that you've cut that out, cut it out onto some white foam. Okay, once you've done that twice, you have to paint them blue. I used acrylic, which was all I had with me, but I also added a bit of PVA glue to it so that it wouldn't crack, because obviously these blue pieces have to bend around the gauntlet, so you have to make sure they don't crack. If you use spray paint, I would possibly curve the actual pieces first before you paint them, just so that it stops them from cracking. But yeah, once these are dry, super glue these onto your gauntlets like this. Once you've done that and you're happy, grab the same template again and cut out the circles. And make 4 of these out of thin white or black foam and spray these gold. I actually superglued 2 sheets of thin black foam together before tracing out my circles to get the desired thickness, but it's a personal preference, so you don't have to do it. But if you do, and you want to make sure that those buttons are perfect, then I would superglue 2 sheets together. That's what worked for me. Now superglue those to your gauntlets, and boom, that is it. Okay, you're almost finished, but now, you know the tip that I said about earlier? Oh yeah. You're going to want to get your gloves to stay inside of your gauntlets, right? Because obviously if you're wearing the gauntlets right now on your hand, and you're like, oh, wait, these gauntlets slide all over the place and they fall down my arm. Now here's what's going to stop that from happening. And it's also going to make it look a bit cleaner. If you want your gloves to stay inside your gauntlets without permanently gluing them in, then simply get a small strip of foam like this, turn it into a ring like this, and make sure that it's slightly larger than the hole in the gauntlets. Now superglue this foam ring to your gloves like this, and slot your glove into the gauntlet. This should let everything move around smoothly without letting the glove come out of the gauntlet, and this also helps to stop the gauntlet from falling down your arm. So it solves like 2 problems in one, and I think it's a really useful tip. So yeah, that's basically it. That is actually the entire video. I'm so happy with it. It took me a very long time to make because I had to make these templates myself. This took a lot of time. Alright guys, I just want to say a massive thank you to my Patreons today, guys. Thank you so much for becoming my heroes of the month. Guys, you guys are insane, okay? It is in fact a new Patreon that I've set up today for this cosplay stuff. So my old Patreons are going to be carried over to my new Patreon page, so don't worry about that. You don't have to sort anything. It's already done, and you don't have to pay anything. It's all good. But you guys have now been moved over to the new Patreon page for cosplaying, because that is what my channel is turning into now. So, yeah. But guys, I just want to say a big thank you to you all. Remember, go down in the description, grab your templates for free. If you already subbed to my Patreon in the first place, you already know what to do. Tell me what you want to see next. Give me some suggestions. I'll give you your shout-outs in the next video. Make sure to subscribe to the Patreon, people, if you haven't done already. You get so many extras, and it honestly helps me out so much. Like, I don't get paid by YouTube. These people are my heroes, okay? And that's why I think it's so great. So thank you for subscribing. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, obviously. Like the video. Comment down below if you like them or not. Comment down below if you subscribe to my Patreon. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay mighty. Woo!